Look, this is perfect empire decline. All you have to do is, you don't even have to go back to the Romans, just go back to the English. You want to fight wars in foreign countries and deplete the treasury at a tune of what? Already $1 trillion budget every year, plus. So the money isn't being allocated for us to expand in a way that would get us out of this.
Is this healthcare reform attempt any good, or is it going to spiral us into more debt?
It's going to spiral us into more. How could any thinking adult put any of their faith in any of the government policies? Show me one thing that they've done so brilliantly. Let's look at Katrina. Wonderful rescue skills. Good show, Brownie. Great job. And the New World Trade Center is a New Yorker. I love to look up. I can't see the top of it. They've rebuilt it so well. And the wars they're fighting overseas. Brilliant job. Just give us a couple of trillion more and a couple of more years, and we'll spend all your money and keep on losing. How could people put any faith in one thing that the government has done? Look at the people. Pelosi, Frank, Bonner, McConnell. How about Mo, Larry, and Curly? Really? I mean, how could grown-ups actually believe that these people could think better than they can? The only thing that they politicians are good at are having jobs they never have to get their fingernails dirty at doing.
I think it begins with our own central bank, the Federal Reserve, which 4 years ago created excess liquidity, created excess money. That created global excess liquidity, started a commodities boom, and really destructively spilled over into the housing market, where everyone figured, why not let lending standards come down? Because after all, housing prices always go up, don't they? So that started it.
So there's a failure there, you would be prepared to admit, on the part of lenders. They were irresponsible, clearly. They picked up a ball that had been thrown there, if you like, by the Fed. But they were partly responsible as well.
But this is not incompetence. You see, incompetence and bureaucratic incompetence is one of the great cover stories for a cold, calculated plan. The structure that this network of families wants to create to install this global centralized dictatorship. And it is this, a world government that dictates to every country. And the world government would control a world central bank that would control all global finance in every country. A world army which would impose the will of the world government, a world currency to replace all cash currencies with one world electronic currency, no cash, and a microchip population connected to a global computer system and the global positioning satellite system. And then under that, the unions, the European Union, American Union, all the rest of it. Now, key in that structure is the World Central Bank.
They can't just do what they want. What we've had for the last 10 to 15 years is an unlimited attitude. We can make money, we can do anything we like, we just have tons of time to do what we want, without regarding the regulation or regarding the basics of how you run your business. That's one of the big questions. And supervision has not been up to scratch. And if you have regulation, you've got to have supervisors. And supervisors have got to be well paid. They've got to be just as well paid in many ways as the bankers they're supervising.
There's no way that you are going to be able to persuade people to completely restructure global finance, not in theory, but in absolute effect, be a financial dictatorship to every person on the planet. You're not going to persuade people to do that. What do you mean we want a world central bank dictating world finance? We don't need that. Everything's fine. Leave it. So what you do, of course this is the technique that they use all the time, is you need a massive problem that destroys the status quo, destroys the financial status quo, and then you can then offer the solution, which is, look, This is so bad. There's no way we can sort this out. We have a global crisis because of globalization of the financial system now. No one can sort it out individually. We're going to have to find a global solution to this.
All of us have agreed to the most substantial overhaul of our international financial system in a generation. No one is exempt. No more will the world's financial players be able to make risky bets at the expense of ordinary people. Those days are over. We are ushering a new era of responsibility.
And they are already talking about the British Prime Minister Gordon Brown, who mirrored in Britain what Greenspan was doing in America, destroying all regulation to allow the free-for-all to happen. And he is talking about the need for a new global architecture of financial governance. So the idea is to create this crisis and then to make it so bad that people accept the globalized solution to it, and so global finance changes and control of it changes in ways that it never would without the crisis. And so what we're looking at now is a three-stage process to bring that about. One has happened, one is happening, the other one is waiting in the wings to happen. Stage one of this engineered collapse is to collapse the economy in a way that people saw that there was a major problem. This is what they did towards the end of the Bush administration. Stage two was to bring in the people who were responsible for engineering the crisis to offer the solutions to the crisis, and those solutions have been, of course, to hurl unbelievable amounts of borrowed money at the problem, at the banks who caused the problem, etc. The idea of stage two is to empty the gun barrels in terms of ability to react to the problem of the governments. You get them to throw so much borrowed money that there comes a point there's no way they can continue to do that. You also make sure, and we're now seeing this blatantly in America, that all that money thrown at the problem has no effect. And we're now seeing in congressional Senate hearings on Capitol Hill, where these financial administrators from the Federal Reserve and other government financial agencies are being asked, where has all this vast amount of money gone that's been thrown at the banks? Who's got it? What have they done with it? Where is it? And they're like, well, we haven't done the audit yet. No, you don't know, do you? Well, I can't tell you at this moment, no. It's gone into a black hole because it's not meant to have an effect. And what they're doing in America, and some financial experts are exposing this, is they're artificially manipulating the figures of the banks to make it appear as if their problems are getting less and they're starting to make money again. It's all financial manipulation to give the impression that things are turning around when they're not. This is stage three now. And I can't say when this will be, but when it will be when they decide that the barrels of the governments in terms of reacting to this crisis are empty and there's no more money or anything else they can do to react, and then they're going to crash the world economy on a major scale. And how bad will it be? It will be as bad as is necessary to get the world to accept a totally restructured global financial system based on a world central bank, which will be a dictatorship to everybody on the planet in terms of finance and financial potential and opportunity, etc. So what will happen when they go to this world level is you'll have the world central bank as the prime dictator, and then it will operate down through the European Central Bank and the central bank of the other unions that are being created, like the African Union and the American Union, that they're closing in on. And so you have this financial pyramid of central banks headed by the World Central Bank, which will control all global finance. And there are many reasons why they've engineered this collapse, but this is a key reason why they've done it. And just watch what unfolds. And we'll see when they first start talking about, we really need a world central bank. It might not be too far from now. It's just a case of how bad do we have to make it before we get what we want. And if they have to make it really, really bad, well beyond the 1930s Great Depression, they will do so because they're ruthless.